So, as the death toll from this coronavirus scourge rises to over 9,800, two Ghanaian residents in the United States and the United Kingdom have been speaking about life out there. In the U.S., where over 14,000 cases have been recorded with 205 deaths, there has been a raft of measures, including shutdown of courts over the pandemic. U.S.-based Ghanaian lawyer Sylvia Quay spoke to Israel on JoyNews Prime.
It's very dire. The schools have all closed. The kids are in the house getting homeschooled. They are doing online classes. Store shelves are empty of essentials. There's no toilet paper. There isn't sanitizer on the shelves. There isn't soap. All these things that are supposed to help us address the coronavirus pandemic are in heavy shortage here. Of course, there's no social activity. Nobody's visiting anybody. We're all holding in our homes. So for those of us who are extroverts, this is very hard because you don't see anybody outside of your own family and you don't get to be in a community with other people. It is it's a tough time we're all living.
I know you have your own practice. How are you coping? Are you able to consult? Are you able to see your clients?
Well, one of the joys of having my own practice is I get to determine how I do my work. Fortunately or unfortunately, all the courts are closed. So there's no litigation going on right now. As far as seeing my clients, I'm able to either FaceTime or do a telephonic consultation with them. I'm in the office by myself, so I'm not exposed to any risk per se. If a client has to come in and sign something, it would just be them. They don't come with an entourage or family members to expose us to, any more threats. So that individual will come in, sign the paper, sanitize his hands, and I sanitize mine, and then they go back.
Are you particularly concerned about how the virus is impacting Africa, and especially Ghana, where you have relatives?
Absolutely. I check on my family every day. I have family all over the world, and so I make sure I touch base with everybody to make sure that everyone is safe. And secondly, to go through the regimen with everybody. Wash your hands, stay away from large crowds of people, sanitize, repeat. Frankly, this is how we're going at it because it's a scary time we're living in right now, and we can't but watch and pray. Do what we can, follow the protocol, clean our hands, surfaces, sanitize, and then self-quarantine or stay at home and not be near people. I particularly have an aging mother who is in the vulnerable group. So I text her every day, call her, and I tell her, stay away from funerals and engagements or weddings. These are the things that our elderly family members do to keep them interested and to keep them, going, to entertain themselves. But I've told her to stay away from all and just stay home. She doesn't even need to go to the market to buy anything. If she needs to walk, she can walk around the house and go back in. So in my own small way, this is all I'm doing to make sure that my family is protected.
So from the United States, in the United Kingdom, over 2,000 cases have been recorded with 38 deaths, I must say. Louisa Osborne is a Ghanaian resident in London.
A lot of uncertainty in London at the moment. Our Prime Minister Boris Johnson today announced that all the schools are going to be shut, from tomorrow. And with the GCSE and A-levels exams pending, we're really not sure what's going to be happening. And also, I've been today sent home, to start working from home. And we're not sure when we're returning. And there's also a partial shutdown on the underground system, the tube network. 40 stations have been closed, and there's, minimal movement around. I particularly went to the supermarket this morning, and I was told that I was entitled to 2 items each, per packaging. And for me, that was, a real awakening. And also, we've been told that 20,000 soldiers have been put on standby to help, with the situation. And so, I mean, these are really trying times. What I can also add is that people are trying, social distancing. The pubs and the restaurants are all empty, and that's what is happening here. Really, it's really trying times for us, but we're trying to contain the situation. And for people of us of faith, we're really clenching on at the moment. For church services are going to be online. And that's the situation at hand at the moment. So,
all right. Are you particularly concerned about how the virus is impacting Africa, and especially Ghana, where you have relatives? Now, Louisa, are you also worried about your folks back home?
Well, on Sunday evening, I think I heard the president's remarks and views on what was going to be happening, and I was particularly encouraged because he had, put a ban on, large gatherings, funerals, churches, and all these places that we seem to, socialize. And he'd also, sent the schools home and so forth and so on. And so for me, in hearing that, it was really encouraging. It made me feel that, that we're taking steps to, curb the situation. And also with the airport situation. At the moment, this is what we're hearing. We're not sure that if you're not a Ghanaian citizen and you make attempts to come to Ghana, they will not allow you to come in. That's what we're hearing, but we're not sure if that's the accurate information. And so yes, and then this morning I also saw on Facebook that they were praying, about the situation, in Jubilee House. That was also very encouraging. So yes, I feel a sense of encouragement with what is happening. They've taken initiative, they've made steps, to try and curb the situation the best way they can. So for me, it's quite encouraging.
Louisa Osborne is a Ghanaian resident in London. Back home in Ghana, traders say importers have started hoarding goods in anticipation of what they say is looming shortage in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. Some of the business owners whose work depend largely on imports from hard-hit countries like China and America say the trend has led to spikes in prices, and things could be worse in the coming weeks as many warehouses run out of stock. We'll bring you the voices of some of the traders who do business with importers and some supermarkets as well as malls, but we'll bring you the global overview, what is happening in the world, across the world as far as coronavirus is concerned. Well, again, we start with China, but China is having very good news recently. So let's move on quickly and take a look at Ghana. What most of you have been sending messages, and in those messages you're asking whether we can confirm the reported cases of 8 recoveries. Well, let's see if the Johns Hopkins University has received any such information because they do live updates of the cases. This is Johns Hopkins University live update of the situation. Total confirmed 16, so obviously it's been updated in the last few hours. 16 so far, no deaths, no recoveries there. So according to the Johns Hopkins University, there has not been any recoveries in Ghana as yet. We know that some websites have reported that there's been some recoveries, but we can't confirm that as far as this data is concerned. We also can't confirm that from the website of the Ghana's Ministry of Health. All right, so let's take a look at, I noticed something interesting. Jamaica seems to be in the same league with Ghana, except that they have recorded 1 death. Now, there are also some misconceptions out there, people sending us messages asking whether or not Jamaica has any cases. Well, We do know that Jamaica has 16 confirmed cases, just like Ghana. What we know, by the way, is that they have recorded 1 death and 2 people have recovered, all in Jamaica. Let's take a look at the hard-hit countries, the hardest hit countries. Let's start with Italy. Certainly Italy on that list is following China. China is, of course, where it started, and so their figures are really up. Italy, the count has gone up to 41,035. 3,405 people have died, but 4,440 people have recovered. That's Italy. If you have friends for them in Italy, you want to hook up with them, try to find out how they're doing. And then let's go to Spain. I'll show you something interesting in Italy as well if we get the video. Now in Italy, they do a lot to support the health personnel, those on the front line. So most people, I mean, the country is in lockdown, but people will come to their balconies and they'll sing praises to the health professionals who are helping in these very hard times. So we'll bring you that video before we call it a wrap here. But let's take a look at Spain. Spain has 19,980. And of course, if you're a football lover, you know that Spain is one of the biggest places to look at when you're talking soccer or world sports. Well, 19,980 cases, 1,000+ people are dead, 1,588 have recovered. But of course, all sporting activities in this area have been suspended. How is Iran doing? Iran is one of the countries we haven't really mentioned lately. Iran is one of the countries hardest hit as well. They have sanctions, and so they've rather been in a difficult position. 19,644. 1,433 people have died so far, but they've made some very good recoveries there. 6,745 people. The U.S., United States of America, where we are also hearing that California has been in curfew as we speak. We'll bring you that video as well. We'll try and find that video for you. But the United States of America is an escalating situation because they have 14,250 confirmed cases as of now. 205 are dead. 121 have recovered. Again, more people have died than the number of people that have been recovered. But we also know that in the United States, they're exploring ways to develop a vaccine for this coronavirus. We know that some people have already been tested. Some volunteers have already been tested with that vaccine, and they're waiting to find out what the results of that testing will be. Let's end with Germany and France, and then perhaps the United Kingdom. Let's take a look at Germany. In Germany, they're also having a very escalating situation. 18,361 recorded cases. 52 people have died. But of course, a number of people have recovered as well. 180 of them, which sounds good. United States, we've done already. Let's go to France and take a look at what's happening in France. We know that a lot of people, fly into this country from France. They're looking at 10,891 cases there. 371 people have died in France. 12 have recovered. Very few as compared to the number of people who have died. Let's end it with the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has 3,297. And I select these countries because we know that, majority, you can find a lot of Ghanaians in some of these countries. So 3,297. 145 people have died. 67 are recovering or have recovered. And so this gives you an idea, the global overview of COVID-19. And so we'll keep updating you. We'll keep updating you as and when we have that data. But if you have friends or you have family anywhere here, keep praying for them. As we here in Ghana also take care of ourselves to make sure that we don't encourage the spread of this disease.